Like I say, there's quite a few things like how like there's a DC-3 or something like that, or a DC bomber basically that had a bedroom and a bed thing inside of it, and basically it was one of my aircraft. Like it was supposed to be like my aircraft or one of my aircraft, and they were flying around, and they would have Tommy guns doing like little missions, and they would fly to different countries, and then they would land, and then they would go and do jobs or something like that, and then they would run back to the aircraft and fly away or whatever. And I forget exactly who it was. I used to know who it was, whether it was Richard Nixon or what. But basically, it was this group of people with guns, and they're flying around like Tommy guns or something like that. And they would fly because we were having spot attacks, and it turns out it was a DC-3 or something like that. And they would fly around, one of the flying fortress things. They would fly around. It was been converted into a motorhome because I used to have quite a few of the bombers. They weren't bombers. They were just, they were made nice and really nice and stuff. And like one of the supposed like Al Capone or mobsters or someone was using it at some point in time to fly around, land in countries. It might have been JFK related or whatever. They spent a lot of time in prop driven aircraft because it's all they could afford to have. And they would land and and basically do like little hit runs or whatever, and then run back to the aircraft or something like that. And there were lots of people that were pretending to be good or whatever, and they were just people like they say Yankees or whatever. That's why a lot of people probably called them Yankees. They just go and do smash and grab and then try and run back to the aircraft or something like that. Anyway, eventually I think we took care of it or whatever. I remember them dying or something like that in a firefight. So anyway, because there's these random attacks that were constantly happening and stuff like that. That's why so many people are like, Jets just came around, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, I was having the American government do it the right way and invent them themselves and not steal from another country. I was like, everybody does it. You have to do it. So that's why America was semi-separate beginning from some point in time because I was like, they already have jets. You need to get jets. You need to do it on your own. So we need to get our own scientists, our own people, and do it just like everyone else does it. You know, not steal and not try and get whatever, but you know, so because that's how I always do it. It's like this is the right way of doing it, and it'll take a little while, but and it took them, like I said, well, what JFK, what a lot of people were doing is they were just getting the plans and translating it and trying to figure it out, and like I said, they couldn't even figure out the DC-3 or the aircraft. They're scratching their heads at the plans, going, I don't know how we're going to fabricate this. And it's like, wow, you guys are pathetic. Yeah, they were looking at the DC-3 plans with the rear engine. They had the full schematics, the engine plans, the aluminum stuff, probably even the makeup of the aluminum, of what aluminum was, or what kind of aluminum to use from the Germans. And they were like, yeah, I don't know how we're going to make this. It's like, wow, yeah, some team. So anyway, yeah, and that's really all Howard Hughes or Lockheed or anyone did is basically they or the USers and the Americans did was basically just copy the German plans, and that's why Germany was so far ahead of everyone. So yeah, but it's okay to be ahead of everyone else. Be behind everyone else. It doesn't really matter your time and place or whatever. Yeah. But then I guess maybe JFK or Nixon was going around and being like, oh, and it's like, like I say, living inside my White House, pretending like wearing my cufflinks, and he might not even have known whose house that was. And the other people were like, maybe you should have thought about it before you moved out. And they had just thought, I found out about from them that they had just seen it as a nice house to go live in originally. They didn't even know who owned it. That was just a stupid fucking mistake, the biggest mistake of their lives. That they decided to kill whoever lived in there or take it over at some point. They thought it was just another rich person's house. Like, no, I was having it renovated. No, it's my house. Anyway, like they say, getting in too deep, getting in over your head. Well, Anyway, I'm not exactly sure which person it was that went and lived in there, but anyway, the whole universe knew it was my house and everything else like that. So anyway, well, Rodney and Rick Bush and other people were trying to cover up their ass on a few things. There were other people that were really trying to cover up their ass because they actually did kind of know who I was, and did kind of know that somebody was going to come looking. So all these people were just tripping over themselves, basically. So anyway, meanwhile, I was living a life as Brian in Mountain Drive. Peaceful life. It was nice. So. Anyway, then like I say, at some point in time, so a bunch of black people thought that blah blah fool with that blah blah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, just boasting all kinds of crap. So that's why, it's like, yeah. Even if all my people on the earth surrendered, even if all my colonies on all the human world surrendered, it wouldn't really matter. It didn't matter. Like, like they say, have all your exoskeletons lay down their weapons, and it's like, yeah, they're just built tough. They don't really use weapons like that. They might have adapted themselves to start using weapons, but or just started building weapons on their own. But I mean, they just have sharp, pointy, whatever, and can't really do that. It's like saying take off your arm. I mean, so they're just wicked fast and wicked dangerous and blah blah. Or whatever. Anyway, like I said, exoskeletons can basically attack in groups of millions or thousands or whatever. I said they can lay thousands of eggs, and they're much just like insects or fleas. So, anyway, like I said, I don't really, Anyway, I told everyone this in like 1940 or 1960 or some year. I was like, or some year, I was like, well, this is how they are. I did all the work on what is the ants, the insects. A lot of people some people figured, well, we'll just have him do it and then we'll kill him. So I don't really know, like I did it for all the others. So I was like, well, I did it for all the others, so I might as well do it for these two or whatever too. I think I had done it hundreds of millions or trillions of years ago. That's why when a lot of people got around me, or a lot of people, they're like, he's going to do it at some point. He's going to do it at some point. It's like, I actually did it billions of years even before I was Brian. Even if I took a small vacation or a small separation when I was Brian, that was just me just going back to whatever I did before and whatever, and probably just to deal with the problems. So, yeah. When you're the creator of the first stars and the first sun, or first stars and first life forms and blah, 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 there's my existence with the human race or the human life form types, and then there's my existence with all the others. Like, after I had led them up throughout the thousands of years, I went and did whatever. So a bunch of people were just fucking with me, like my entire Brian existence, but he just pretending to have like a child with him or something. I don't know. Somebody explained it all to me. Explained everything to me. I was like, well, it's like this or something like that. And I was like, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me, Can't be worse than Abraham Lincoln staring over me or standing nearby me saying, I'll be getting dressed at Gettysburg by the time you die. No one will think I did it. But then he was pretending like he adopted me or whatever. Like I said, there was no election for Abraham Lincoln. He just suddenly was, because they found another way of just saying that he had adopted a child, blah, blah, blah. And then he was just living in my house. I don't know. I said, I don't know. You have to go ask him. Anyway. So. Anyway, yeah. But, there's all these people. And like I said, realistically, it's not that blah, blah. It's that Jimmy Carter, all these other fake presidents wanted some legitimacy. And so they knew of Abraham Lincoln. They knew he was old or something like that, or blah, blah. And they just went with his legitimacy. Like even he had to be built. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, but of course that was just Abraham Lincoln. Not really a great man, not really a good person, not really good looking. Like I would definitely say if you knew him and knew about his bone, wherever, like that, almost like Neanderthal man, really. He had a hardened bone jaw or something like that. In the old days, some people had hardened bone, like they had an extra bone that would stick out right here, like a rib bone that would go down here or something on their chin. I don't know what happened to them. Anyway, like some sort of show of dominance. Chinning. And there used to be this thing where they would say, it's for chinning. Yeah, like weird. Where you bump your chins? I don't know. Like I say, I don't really know. I mean, but yeah, anyway, there's a lot of things, like I say. Fake football games at JFK or Nixon, like they were trying to make it look like they had football games at their school or whatever forever, and it's like, and the people said, yeah, well, I mean, all they used to do is there'd only be 3 people in the crowd at the games or something like that, because no one wanted to watch the games or something like that, and they just photomatted the fans in, and then photomatted the games being played. And they used to do that for the school. They would just photomat in the films. They would play the game and film it, and then they would photomat in a real game with a real stands in the background. So everyone thought that it was a really popular team, man. It's a really popular team. Yeah, look, it's a real popular team, and it's just photomatting back done in some year. They're like, yeah, well, they used to do it, as a cute thing to do for the school or something like that. And yeah, nobody ever came to those games. They weren't popular at all. So. I don't know why they weren't popular. I don't know. So. Anyway. Yeah, a lot of things about some of the past films aren't real. So. Like there's one film archives. They found all those film archives in that one guy's place, and those were all like the photomatted films or something like that. And then they found them, these old films, and it's like, oh, those are the old photomatted films that the teacher had. The teacher kept the films, the films that he had photomatted or they had done together as class projects or school projects. They're all photomatted films, and he had kept them in his house because they weren't considered real archives. They were because they were edited or modified films, not the real ones. So, well, the real ones stayed in a museum and inside of an archive, a real archive. He just had them in his basement or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, he was a teacher or something. Anyway, yeah. So like I said, I don't really care. It's like, yeah, well, that's blah blah. Anyway, there are all these people like were trying to prove their existence, or trying to prove their particular way of presenting the facts. Rodney would do that a lot too. A lot of people would do that a lot too. Try and make it look like, present the facts in such a way. Like, and they would talk about that in court all the time. It's like, you don't read the full statement. You only read and even the Irish people and even the Germans said, you don't read the full statement, the full report. You're only reading like three lines of it. And that was like Nixon or somebody's specialty of like, did you say on the 5th of November that you would kill him? Or that you would have spam? Or did you say that you'd kill him if you had spam? Is this true? Yeah, and that's basically what pretty much, what a couple people were doing, Which is no world different than the Stomp group walking on people with boards. They were like, do you know what they're doing? They're drugging these people. They throw them in the pool and they pretend like they drown, but they're holding them down, having these things. And everyone at the party knows that if they kill this person, they all get like $5,000 a piece or something like that. So they're killing all these people that were supposedly rich, and like half of them, I guess, maybe had stolen the money or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't care. I mean, it's just a bunch of people running around, one person killing the other person. Like they used to make the cartoons about the guy who robs his bank and he goes and he gets clubbed on the head by somebody else, and then they grab the bag and run. And then they're clubbed on the head by somebody else, and like it's actually a lot more. It's actually like a true story. Like they would have been reporting it in the films and stuff like that, but they would have been shot or killed. They had, so they made cartoons.